is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. What a great Wednesday. Christine Leahy is joining me today. We have a packed show. Peter Schrager, Nick Wright, Greg Cosell, Eric Mangini, who's been with the Patriots, and Christine joining me. Of course, you worked in Boston. I lived in Connecticut.
Yes.
So it feels like the season ends and we're still talking Patriots because they are sort of the evil empire of the sport.
The evil empire.
That's how
we knew this was going to happen, that we would talk about the Patriots after the Super Bowl, regardless.
So here we are today, Christine. Here's the story. Josh McDaniels has been Bill Belichick's right-hand man, his most trusted assistant, and the Colts were going to pry him away. And then yesterday, Bob Kraft and the Patriots flipped him. Now, it's interesting. It's ironic. Maybe it's coincidental. Today is the day in America. It's National Letter of Recruit Signing Day. This is the day when all the colleges finalize their commitments to players. And what will happen about 15 to 20 times today, maybe 30, a player will get what they call flipped. He says, I'm going to be a Wolverine. I'm going to play for Harbaugh. And at the last second, he flips and goes to Penn State. I'm going to be a Trojan. I'm going to be a Trojan. Last second, he flips to Oklahoma. It's called flipping. The NFL yesterday. Bob Kraft flipped Josh McDaniel. He had verbally committed, like all those high schoolers, to Indianapolis. And Bob Kraft came in. And you know what he sold him? Their owner's crazy. I'm not. Their quarterback, Andrew Luck, has a bad shoulder. Ours is the greatest of all time. Their organization, outside of Peyton Manning, chaos. Ours, stability. They don't know how good they'll be next year. Us, we'll be back in the AFC Championship at minimum. They flipped him. Colin, Josh McDaniels is a jerk. Now, we think this is sinister, and we think it's evil. But he's 41 years old, got a couple of daughters, wife. Maybe just got cold feet. Maybe we're jumping to conclusions. Maybe like a lot of people in America, he gets recruited, says, I want to go someplace. And then his boss comes back in and sweetens the pot and says, I'll give you a little less this, a little more of that. I'll give you a better office. I'll give you more responsibility. I'll give you a little this. That's the same thing happening in America over the last 24 hours. Urban Meyer's on the phone. I promise you, you will be able to compete for a starting job. And we have a better program. And we have less chaos. And we have a better coordinator. And we're going to win the Big Ten. And flip. That's what happened. It's a flip. Colin, this guy's still a jerk. Indianapolis, you had a real nice guy, Chuck Pagano. How did that work? All the great coaches, as I've been saying for 15 years on radio, the great ones all have some jerk in them. Belichick's got some jerk. Sean Payton's got some jerk. Nick Saban's got some jerk. Harbaugh's got some jerk. Nice guys, at least in coaching. Chuck Pagano, Wade Phillips, they get run over. This morning, Bob Kraft is really happy. He's never gotten over Deflategate. Remember, the Colts turned New England in. And so he's sitting there and he's thinking to himself, I'm 75 years old, man. How many years on the planet? I'm never going to get a quarterback as good as Tom Brady. I'm never going to get a coach as good as Belichick. Why not overpay? Why not stick it to Indianapolis? And it's National Letter of Intent Day, so I'm going to flip him. And Kraft sat Josh McDaniels down, and he said, kid, your family, their owner, impulsive. Their quarterback, who knows? Stability, rings, Brady, Belichick. Maybe he promised him the next head coaching job. People are denying that this morning, but don't we all kind of know when Bob Kraft sat down with Josh McDaniels, Bob Kraft probably said something like, Bill's not going to be here forever. That's the same thing that college football coach Urban Meyer says today. That great linebacker, he's not going to be here forever. You don't have to make promises. They're unspoken. Bill's almost 70, Josh. He's not going to be here forever. All that was, and I know Indianapolis is ticked, on National Letter of Intent Day, Bob Kraft flipped the best coordinator in football. Chris Ballard is the general manager and my friend for the Colts. I don't think he's really happy because I think Chris knows what I thought, which is this thing was going to work. Andrew Luck, Josh McDaniels, it was going to be good. Now, there are still very good candidates out there. Philadelphia's got two, Frank Reich, Jim Schwartz. They'd both be fine. Excellent hires, perhaps. But here's Chris Ballard, held a press conference today, not in the best mood ever.
We were disappointed. Unquestionably, we were disappointed and surprised. We had agreed to contract terms. We had an agreement in place. We followed all the rules, did everything right. Very confident Monday evening and Tuesday morning. I got a call Tuesday evening saying he had changed his mind and was going in a different direction. And at that point, I informed our owner. We informed y'all of where we were going, and we'll keep moving forward. Thank y'all. Thanks, Chris. The rivalry is back on.
Oh.
That's good. Let me start with this. I know Chris Ballard. I trust him. I think he's really smart, and I like what he's doing. And I'm bummed out. I shouldn't be, right? I'm a Patriot guy. No, I'm bummed out because it was going to work, and it was going to be awesome. And it was going to be like all those partnerships in the NFL that I love watching. Young quarterback talent, Jimmy Garoppolo, and smart, young, intellectual football coach, Kyle Shanahan. Goff, McVay, Trubisky, Matt Nagy, Bill O'Brien, Deshaun Watson, Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz. I love football, and more than anything, I love the quarterback position, and I have since I was a kid. And what I'm seeing in the NFL right now is awesome. I mean, how much fun was it to watch even Philadelphia's backup, Nick Foles, in the Super Bowl? Trick plays, go for it now, fourth down, out-of-the-box thinking, all sorts of sets. Name a top quarterback talent and a young, bright offensive mind that's not working right now. Some would say Dirk Cutter and Jameis Winston in Tampa, but I would argue the 3 years that Dirk Cutter has worked with Jameis Winston, his passer rating's gone up every year. Jameis still throws too many interceptions for me, and his judgment can be sometimes impaired, but Winston's better with Dirk Cutter than he was with Lovey, or would have been with Lovey. You know what Josh McDaniels is to some degree, and everybody's emotional today? He's Lane Kiffin. Think about it for a second. Young, cocky coordinators, given an early head coaching job, USC and the Broncos both failed. Then they rebound and they go to a top coordinator job where they both win titles. Kiffin at Alabama wins a couple, and McDaniels in New England wins a couple. And they eventually, at some point in their career, have backed out of a job too early. Kiffin bolted Tennessee, McDaniels bolts Indianapolis. Let's take the emotion out of it because it's clouding the truth. Lane Kiffin and Josh McDaniels had the support of Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, the two best football coaches in the world. And they did because they're good. They're good. This hurts. The rivalry's back on. Chris Ballard's bum and should be. This was going to work. And football is better when great young quarterback talents like Deshaun Watson and Goff and Wentz, some would say Nick Foles and Garoppolo and Trubisky, when they get a really smart, young, clever offensive guy. Let me side with Josh McDaniels just once on this. And as I said to open the show, Chris Ballard's got two things working against him: impulsive owner and Andrew Luck's shoulder. Let me just for 1 second support Josh Daniels. Is it possible Andrew Luck's shoulder is worse than the Colts are telling us? I mean, let's be honest here. This thing's been shrouded in mystery. It's been enigmatic for a year. Just think for a second. You're Josh McDaniels. The one place I'll side with him. We don't really know, and I'm not sure the Colts do, what's up with that guy you see on the screen, Andrew Luck. Jim Irsay doesn't do Chris Ballard any favors Either does that shoulder and the mystery that surrounds it. All right, good stuff today. I thought there was, I don't have, I have an Instagram account, but I have my guys here on the team run it, right? So I don't necessarily run it. But
Wait, you have the Herd or you have a Colin Cowherd one?
No,
too?
I have the show one.
Oh, the Herd. Okay.
Okay. But there was a moment on Instagram yesterday that I thought was meaningful. Now, I'm not saying Instagram can't be meaningful. I think a lot of it's junk. But there was a moment yesterday on Instagram that I think was meaningful, and I want to touch on that. It was with Tom Brady coming up next. Valentine's Day is now officially 1 week away. Have you thought about what you're doing? Don't fail miserably. Lock it in, fellas. A gift from Sherry's Berries makes the impression. This year, think inside the box. It's fresh, juicy strawberries dipped in milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, Swizzles, chocolate chips, chopped nuts. You choose the delivery date this morning, and it's guaranteed. And they'll give you 20% off